Yo.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again. It is Monday indeed. About to be Tuesday. Just in a couple of minutes. Yeah. So, I hope that you have done the right thing. You have liked. You have shared. You have done everything that you need to do. Now, obviously, the only thing that is left is for you to engage in this comment section. Live feed where you can engage with people. Unlike SABC.
Oh, the sound was awful today. Yo, it was terrible. The sound was terrible, guys. I had never worked under such difficult circumstances before. It was tough. It was tough. And when it got together, I could hardly hear what was being said. It was a challenge today.
But you managed.
I did manage to gather what I could gather. And allegedly, ENCA was the ones providing the feeds for today. So it wasn't the SABC. Allegedly.
What?
So they were feeding the SABC with the feeds. That's what I got from the SABC journalist.
So what? SABC is tired.
Maybe they want to distribute the responsibility with ENCA, in my opinion, because every day, maybe they want to interchange with ENCA.
Where did you get that information?
I don't know. I got it on Twitter from Sipho Kikakana. He's a journalist for the
So the
SABC.
first feed was supposed to be from ENCA then to SABC.
Yeah, then they feed the SABC. That's how it worked for today. I don't know if they're going to repeat it tomorrow, but hey, it was tough. Okay, so it's probably because maybe the people were new or something was happening. I don't know.
There's no excuse, man. There's no excuse. But we can't blame them that much. We can't say
We
it's
also
them.
have technical...
Because we're not sure. We cannot say it's them.
Yeah, we can't say it's them. But yeah, it was a long day for me.
So
personally.
ENCA could be the reason why we're suffering this much?
Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly for now because I don't have all the facts. But from what I heard, they were the ones
But why would
doing the
SABC
feeding.
just give such gig like that?
I'm not thinking they're giving it. I'm thinking it's more of a sharing.
Why would they
Broadcasting.
share? They're in charge of this case.
I don't know. Maybe it's tiring or something, or they need to focus on other things. Remember,
Or maybe
SABC is
these
going
ones
through
of
a lot.
ENCA just came and said, no, listen, we are also part of this. We need it.
Maybe that could also be the case. So
I'm
we
hoping
don't know
that
the
doesn't
politics of
happen
their
again. We
media.
don't want them. If it's them, we don't want them. They should get the feed from SABC because they're on the. But SABC was busy answering. We're fixing the feed. We're fixing what.
Maybe they were assisting in fixing the problem.
They sabotaged, allegedly, each other. Well, we're not here about that, but we had to talk about it. I mean, it's straightforward. I mean, this thing of sound is straightforward. It's not complicated as people make it.
Way like an expert. Spoken like a true expert.
Come on, it's straightforward.
So yeah, I really had difficulty putting this show together. So guys, hopefully you can press that like button, okay, and encourage me because today was not easy. Nanyas. Okay.
So let me tell you what is happening right now. We are on 268 people here. We have 100 and probably hundreds and something likes. So is that what you were talking about?
Yes, they can increase as new people come in.
What about
Remind
the
them
ones
to
that
like.
are here? 200.
Thank you guys for liking the video.
186 or something
So
that is here.
287, 160. How many likes?
It's
do we
not
have so
matching,
far?
basically. We're about to reach 300. It's not matching.
Well,
Can we have
asking for
glitches? I can also
100%.
create
You
glitches
can
here.
also create sound problems
Yeah.
and glitches and stuff.
You can all go like miming here.
And then my mouth starts to move. But you can't hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we have to laugh, guys.
Yeah.
Now, please like the video. It's 300 of you. at least make it 200. Thank you very much for those who have done it without being reminded. That means you understand your job.
Thank you.
As we
Highly
also
appreciate
deliver on
it.
our job. Thank you very much. Highly appreciated. And thank you for those who are reminding others to actually do so when they come in. Thank you. Highly appreciated.
So Advocate Zithulele Nxumalo was expected to reopen his cross-examination of Warrant Officer Thabo Mosia to clarify a few things or issues before Advocate Zadile Mshololo began her cross-examination today. And Advocate Nxumalo reopened the cross-examination by asking for the pocketbook.
Let me ask you this. Didn't Zithulele finish yesterday?
He did.
Hence we had to wait for
Mshololo.
Cholol. No, yesterday, on Friday.
It was Friday.
Right?
He was done. We had to wait for Mshololo to start with her cross-examination, but he changed his mind this morning.
Do you remember Mshololo fighting for his time
Which time?
during T4 or TT's time?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember I'm still on the floor or something like that? And there was a big hoo-ha under Afro.
Uh-huh. Oh, when things like this would happen, yes, Advocate Mshololo would argue. I remember that. She didn't want them to just pop when they say they're done with
It's
cross-examination.
very interesting how they are working the other ones now.
I remember that. How can I forget? And she'll be like, you said you were done cross-examining. It's my turn now. It's my turn now. I even remember the gestures. So yeah, it was interesting that she really let this one slide. It was not a big issue. So Thabo Mosia, the pocketbook that Warrant Officer Thabo Mosia used on the night of the incident. Mosia said last year we searched for it and we couldn't find it. So Nxumalo said, you remember the other cases you attended, the arson and the robbery cases? And Mosia said, yes. Do you know of a photo register? And Mosia said, we used it back then and it was called the client register. Currently we are registering the duties or tasks directly on the system. So Nxumalo asked, where is that register? And Mosia said it was in Springs. So what do you document in that register? And Mosia said we use it for the photo album, excluding breaking cases. So Nxumalo asked, in that register, those incidents would appear in the register? And Mosia said he believes so. And Nxumalo said, was it a robbery with aggravating circumstances where firearms were used? And Mosia said, as far as he remembers, it was a spaza shop robbery, but he's not sure if the firearm was used, even though such robberies would involve the use of guns. And Nxumalo asked, is there also a register where you documented the trips? And Mosia said, other than a pocketbook, there isn't any other document to register the trips. So the judge reprimanded Nxumalo for including the robbery and arson cases in his questioning. And he said Mosia has not testified about the robbery and the Pakistanis. At least tell the court why you are pursuing that line of questioning. And Nxumalo asked Mosia if he used a digital camera and if the camera had an SD card. And Mosia said, yes, it's true. It does have an SD card. Now, Nxumalo asked, how then do you download the information from the SD card? And Mosia said, when I come back from the crime scene the following day, I write the image numbers, separating them by their case numbers. Then I'll remove the SD card and give it to someone who works with them, the downloading clerk. After the photos have been downloaded by the downloading clerk, then I get a working call as well as the SD card. He downloaded 8 photos on that day. So Nxumalo asked, why did you use a brown envelope for the bullet projectile? And Mosia said, that is my practice. That's how I do it to ensure that it is packaged safely. Nxumalo asked, is that how you work? That the fragmented bullet is put in a clear forensic plastic bag and the next day you put the projectile in the brown envelope. So this is very interesting. So you're telling me that Mosia removed from the plastic to the brown envelope?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Then Mosia said, I don't see anything wrong with that as long as my exhibits are separated.
So he was separating exhibits.
Nxumalo Khumalo then asked, there is a problem. We can't see the bullet projectile in the envelope. Can you see it? Meaning, referring to the photos that were taken. And Mosia said, I took the exhibits in a proper sequence. When I found it, I took a picture of it. And when I took it, I put it in the envelope and took another picture. Khumalo asked, is it also correct that the exhibits that you found on your first visit, you marked them alphabetically? And Mosia said, yes, it is so. Khumalo asked, are you aware that ballistic tests on these exhibits were done on the 20th of July, 2020, 6 years later? And
So,
Mosia-
wait, this you digest. I also had to digest. I was like, so we've been pursuing a case where the testing, which is the most important thing, were done on 2020.
Yes. in
And all of a sudden, now we're gun blazing for these people. 2020,
Yes.
2020.
Yes. This is after a public outcry with regards to the case. And, people were starting to complain.
So basically, almost 2.5 years ago,
Yes.
or could be 2 years. So in any case, this thing was just sitting there.
It's actually 3. We're in 2023 now.
When
20th
it's
of
not
July
finished.
has passed. The 20th of July have passed. So it's 3 years now. 3 years ago. 6 years later, after the incident, the 27th of October 2014. So Mosia said, I have no knowledge of that. Khumalo then said, you told this court that you first have to take a picture of the exhibits. And Mosia said, that is so. Khumalo asked, do you also take a picture of the exhibit in the back before you seal it? And Mosia said, yes, that is so. So before you seal the seal back, what colors are there in the seal? And Mosia said, sometimes bluish, sometimes yellow. So the seal of the back you were using was blue. And Mosia said he needed to check the packaging. Mosia considered that there's no picture of the exhibit back before it got sealed. His reason is that it is just the manner that he used. So the photos that are there are the photos you took after you sealed the exhibit back. And Mosia said yes, photo 149 and 130. Khumalo asked, I have been requested by Mr. Mapisa to ask you to bring the registers you used on that day so that I can examine them. The state objected, and Baloyi said, can the council provide the basis for that? Now, why the state does not want to show the accused that evidence, I didn't understand. But the judge said, why not bring the whole safe while you are at it, being sarcastic? If you want them, it's fine. So every day as this court proceeds, I'm asking myself what's going on.
Yes.
At the end of every month, they take the registers. Now, this is the judge now testifying, and they take them to another place. Mosia says he would not promise the court to bring the registers. And then that's when the sound went off, guys. But then after it came back, the judge said that Advocate Mshololo should take over cross-examination as Khumalo needed to consult. So Advocate Mshololo said that she was going to ask for proof of the cases he went to attend on that night as well. So the judge said, can you cross-examine the witness? And Mshololo said, I was just saying I'm going to ask for the same register as Advocate Khumalo. And the judge said, can you cross-examine the witness? He's here. And Mshololo started with a cross-examination by saying, Mr. Mosia, you were called by Brigadier Ndlovu, but he couldn't give you the address of the incident. And Mosia said, yes, he didn't have the address at the time. He told me Senzo Meyiwa had been shot and had already been taken to the hospital. Mshololo asked, how far were you? And Mosia said, about 10 kilometers. Mshololo asked, how long did it take you? And Mosia said, 20 to 30 minutes. Do you remember the second statement that you gave? And you said that there was a delay of 4 hours before you arrived at the crime scene. What caused the delay? Because you were not far when you got the call. And Mosia said, I don't see myself as someone who wasted time. Mosia said pertaining to the intruders, he got a report that there were intruders who came in and they demanded cell phones and money. Mosia says he didn't waste time to get to the Senzo Meyiwa crime scene. He went to the police station to get details. The judge said the witness said there was a delay in getting to the crime scene. He wanted to know what Mshololo wanted to elicit from the witness. And Mshololo said she wants to ask about the delays to go to the crime scene. And the judge said, that's the point. Get to that. He went to the hospital because there were police there who directed him to the crime scene. And Mosia agreed. That's why he went to the hospital. That's the evidence. And Mshololo said, should I proceed? Asking the judge. And the judge said, you are entitled to. Oh my God, today was tense. Today was argumentative gymnastics. Like, there's still more to come. There's still more to come. Mshololo said, from the hospital, at what stage did you realize that you have to go to the house? And Mosia said, when I took the details of the first report, many times I take other details that would get me to the place of the incident as quick as possible. He says the requester did not have the address and told him that the deceased was at the hospital. So he says he had to use his mind to get to the scene of the incident. Mosia said he had to drive to the police station to try and get the address of the incident. Asked why he didn't call the police station instead of driving to the police station, he says he did not have the state's phone at the time. He used his own cell phone. So Mshololo asked, but you were on standby without being supplied with equipment? And Mosia said the phone breaks as it is being used by a lot of hands. The standby phones were not available for that area. So which one is it, Mosia? Were they not available or were they broken? Then Mosia said that he was called late by Brigadier Ndlovu, who also didn't have the address to the crime scene when he called. He wrote in his report who gave him points on the crime scene. He says he was never informed the scene had not been secured. Asked by Mshololo that when he arrived, was he ever informed that the crime scene had been left with a Mr. Khumalo, who is not a member of the police force? I guess Advocate Mshololo has not yet found out that piece of information. Or she can't put it in the court yet. That
It is alleged.
it is alleged that Kelly Khumalo's uncle Temba is a member of the SAPS.
Or maybe he became a
was.
member later.
Or maybe he became after the incident. Who knows? But yes, Mosia then said, no, I never received such a report. How do you ensure as a police officer that the crime scene is secured and prevented from any contamination? And Mosia said, I found the police had arrived. I believe that at the time, the crime scene was secure. And Mosia said, when I arrived at the scene, it had been cordoned off. And that to me indicated that the scene was secured. So Mshololo asked, from your report, were you informed if there was any intruder who entered inside the house? Mosia said there was no such a report. This is interesting. The judge reminded him that he's referring to the suspect. And Mshololo said, were you also told about the door that was used by the so-called intruders? And Mosia said, yes. Mshololo asked how many doors were used. Then Mosia said the kitchen door. There was one door, the dining room one. I did not see. There were curtains. It was covered in curtains. So Mshololo said, Mr. Mosia, did you check how many exit doors were in the house? And Mosia said, when you are outside, you see 2 doors. On that day, the exit door was 1. So Mshololo did stay on this question about the doors. I was getting tired. But then, adding to that, she said, you were also told about the exact door that was used by the intruder. And Mosia said, yes. Do you agree with me that had the fingerprints been taken from that door, it could have assisted us to see if there was really an intruder or no intruder? State objected and said that it's an unfair question. And the judge said that he agrees with that. Maybe the question should be, why were the fingerprints not taken regarding the first door? And Mshololo repeated the question as was, according to how the judge had put it. And Mosia said as he had information on what took place, he looked at the kitchen door and it was used a lot. In other words, you did not want to take fingerprints from the door handle because it had been tampered with, asked Mshololo. And the state stood to object, and the judge agreed, saying that there's no evidence like that. So Mshololo asked, there could have been an interference with that evidence as people were using that door a lot. And Mosia said it is so. The fingerprint on the handle of the door would have assisted us during the day. Another thing would have been to start touch DNA following a procedure. From the deceased motor vehicle, did you conduct any investigations? Asking Mshololo. And Mosia said, no, I did not see any evidential value in the deceased car. Wow. Can you believe that?
I do.
No evidential value. South Africa our land. Then Mshololo asked, but after realizing that there had been a bullet hole on the door, did you mark that door as a no-go area? Mosia said, I placed an arrow sticker to say we would continue investigating the door once the task team had arrived. Mshololo asked, did you inform the people in the house? And Mosia said, I told the occupants of the house and told them which spots they had to avoid, and also told them to rather use bedroom 2 to sleep so that they don't interfere with the exhibits. Mshololo asked, did you leave the fingerprints from the bathroom door? And Mosia said, yes, I took swabs. Mshololo asked, why did you leave the other bedrooms? And Mosia said, I have already explained that when I conduct investigations, I follow the movements of the suspects as per the information I receive. And then court adjourned for tea. The judge asked Advocate Khumalo to go through a case called Steyn versus Herrera. Okay, I have no idea about that case, and I don't see how for tea time now Khumalo must be distracted looking at old cases when he needs to be representing his client. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like being given homework for 15 minutes where you should be receiving instructions from your client. Mr. Anonymous, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I also feel it didn't matter. I mean,
like you expect me to go through a whole entire case when I have a client that I'm representing. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Homework.
It's just, I don't know, like fatigue also, creating unnecessary fatigue. Yeah.
How?
Because, I mean, I'm going to focus on that. And where is it going to help? So that you can come back and lecture me. If you want to lecture
like
me.
Like a case is 2 pages.
Yeah.
It's a whole book on its own.
If you want to lecture me, you might as well lecture me as usual.
How? Then Mshololo asked Mosia for the reference numbers of those other cases he had to attend to in between attending Senzo's case. Mshololo wanted to verify whether those cases existed, and she also wanted those case numbers. Mosia said now he has a chronic health condition. The witness box made him very sick last year for about 5 months. He said, I even have doctor's papers that indicate my situation. It is too much pressure. I think I won't recover as I'm supposed to with these long trips to and from Mpumalanga. Excuses, that's all I heard.
Yeah.
They can be faxed if you still prefer faxing. They can be scanned and emailed. You know, a lot can happen. You understand? You don't have to travel to Springs to get them. Does he?
No.
So why is he creating excuses? So Mshololo said, I put it to you that there were no cases that you had to attend to. And Mosia said, I disagree with that, even though I don't have proof of that. Mshololo then said, and when you left, you had not detected the bullet projectile. And Mosia said, yes. Mshololo said he is sorry about that, the fact that he's feeling sick and whatever, and wants those reference numbers without him having to drive there. The judge asked Mr. Baloyi if they will ask Mhlahlo to come and testify. There is vital material evidence. This is the judge now giving his lecture again. There is vital material evidence, and then there's evidence. Like this witness, he says he had to concurrently and he was on standby, and his job is to attend all the crime scenes, and he says he left the crime scene there. Did you go with Mhlahlo? And Mosia said no, she had not yet arrived. There was Zwane and Brigadier Ndlovu. The judge said, if you are saying what he is testifying is untruthful, then put it to him. If he is lying, then put it to him that he's lying, he left. Then we will leave it to see if it's material to this case or not. The records are 9 years ago. You can put it to him because he's not able to do it because of his ill health. Mshololo put it to him that there were no cases he did not attend, and Mosia said, I disagree with that, even though I do not have any evidence. So regarding the bullet on the kitchen counter that he discovered on the second visit to the incident, Mshololo asked, and it was only discovered the second time he went to the scene, and Mosia said yes. Mshololo asked, do you know if there is someone who placed the bullet there? And Mosia said no. The judge said, put it to him. Do you know who placed the bullet on top of the kitchen counter? You're putting an assertion that someone placed that bullet there. Does he know that or does he not know who that is? And Mshololo said, I'm sorry, my lord, I just missed the point. The judge said, no, the point is you are putting it as a fact that the bullet was placed on top of the cupboard behind the jug or whatever. But Mshololo put it as a question, in my opinion. She put it as a question, not as a fact. So I didn't understand what the judge meant there. But the way you phrase your question is what the judge said. Do you know who placed the bullet behind the jug or whatever? The way you phrase your question, okay? And his tone today was more shouty. More shouting at Mshololo, and I didn't like that. But then it is what it is. And the crime scene management team arrived before Mosia arrived at the scene, and whenever he goes to the crime scene, he works with the investigating officers. Mshololo asked, it's your evidence that the door was not closed when you left and it was used by people. Correct. And Mosia said, I don't know if there are movements after I had left. I left the scene under the capable hands of the police.
Oh.
Mshololo then said, you said you inspected the hole on the door the first time you arrived. And Mosia said, yes. Mshololo asked, did you check if there were any other exhibits trapped inside that hole? And Mosia said, I suspected it could have fallen into the opening on the door. And Mshololo asked, Mr. Mosia, you need to learn to answer the question. Did you check inside that hole if there were any other exhibits that could have been trapped in there? And Mosia said, my investigation was based on my own thinking that it could be possible that it could have fallen in there. Mshololo asked, did you check or not? And Mosia said, based on my suspicions, was I supposed to break that door?
Thank you, Darwin, for the gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Then Mshololo said, so you didn't check? And Mosia is like, I didn't say I didn't check. Mshololo asked, so you checked? And Mosia said, investigation is checking.
Akala. It's difficult. It's going right and left and right.
So clearly he didn't want to answer this question. Okay, clearly. So you didn't find anything. Mshololo now asking. And Mosia saying, no, I did not find anything. The information he receives is only a guideline. From there, he processes the crime scene based on his knowledge. Mosia says he didn't take blood samples from the people who were in the house to check their alcohol consumption levels, as that would have been the work of the investigation officer.
Thank you, Isaiah.
This is Zwani. that he's talking about.
Yeah. So, Zwane has passed in terms of coming and.
I heard Matebula is the one who passed.
No, I'm saying he's still to come.
I think he's still to come.
There's something that boggles my mind, and I'll tell you why, and that I've noticed. It might seem to most of us that there's no order of how these people are chosen to come and testify. But there's an order.
The order, in my opinion, is to create more confusion.
The order is such that even when the main person comes, you would not notice. Why do I say that?
Why?
Listening to, and I'm happy that they actually raised to sort of not fully let go of Mosia. When you listen to Mosia initially before we went in over, Mosia was just a person of moderated interest, not that much. But what we are gathering now with the witness that has just come to a stand, just Mhlahlo, is that Mosia is actually the most important person.
Yep. True.
And the order has been like that. Look at it this way. Zandi comes.
Yes.
When Mtogo comes, we are realizing that actually Zandi was supposed to come after Mtogo and Dumi.
Yes.
Because most of the things that are pushed towards Zandi, it's even now difficult to answer them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mosia comes first. But you realize that in testifying, as we continue, everyone is pushing to Mosia.
And Mhlahlo made it sound like Mosia took over.
Exactly. But
is actually the one who dealt.
Yes.
And imagine if they had just called Mhlahlo Qala first.
Yeah, it would lay the ground for
Yes.
proper questions to
Of
Mosia.
Mosia.
Yes.
But no, that can't happen. Mosia
Mosia must come first.
And Mosia, in his testimony, he's pointing to Mhlahlo, pointing to Brigadier Ndlovu, pointing to Zwane. He's not taking accountability. as the
Exactly.
one
Exactly.
who was actually in charge that night.
Exactly. So he points to everyone that is probably not there and will never be there. Do you understand? But only to find that this person is a person of interest who's currently alive.
It's him. It's actually him.
You would actually reduce him to just a photo guy,
Yeah, a photographer.
Photographer.
At some point, it felt like that's what he wanted to be referred to as, just a person who took the photos. But no, you didn't.
And it is warranted now why they need even his movement. When he moved and he left the scene,
Yes.
was it legit that he
Yes.
left the scene for that?
Yes.
Can we prove that
we prove it?
he left the scene indeed for that particular job that was allegedly needed? He was needed on. We need that. We are not seeking to scrutinize the case itself of what happened, but that comes as a report of where you were. It tells on you this person indeed was attending to a certain case.
Yes.
This is where the case is at right now. Maybe the case is closed, and the person who was in charge of that case is Mosia. Do you understand such
Yes.
things? That's what we want to know.
So Mosia says that he was on the scene as an assistant to the investigation officer. You see, guys, how he just diminishes his role. He's just making it seem like he was just there assisting. Then there was another about the receipt between the judge and the state versus Mshololo and Mosia. Now, he had to read the details of the receipts from the ballistic. They made Mosia read those details from a receipt. It was part of the exhibits and the receipt, what the receipt was saying. Now, Mosia said that his work ends when he hands in the exhibits. Mshololo took him back to when he attended the crime scene in the morning of October 27th, 2014. And Mosia says that he can't say whether he had collected all the exhibits by then. But Mshololo is asking about when he was done for the day collecting all the exhibits. Mshololo asked, is it not a procedure to go to the nearest police station and enter all those exhibits with the investigative officer? And Mosia said exhibits such as the murder weapon, such as the knife, the gun, in the SAP 13 are the ones we leave there. We can do a swab on the handle of the firearm or the handle of the knife. We have all the exhibits except for the murder weapons. So Mshololo asked, why was the bullet not taken? And Mosia said, I have already explained that. That is how we work. Mosia says the murder weapon is a crucial part of the evidence and he would not be attending other crime scenes with the murder weapon. But Mshololo asked, but on that day, you took the bullet and drove around with it. And Mosia said, when I attend crime scenes, all the exhibits are kept with me. As long as all the exhibits are packaged properly, there's nothing wrong with that. So the state objected, saying that the witness had already explained that they did not have the exhibits of the firearm with them, and the judge agreed. But then Mosia did say that he drove around with the bullet projectile that he found on the floor. Did he not say that, guys?
No, he did. He did.
Then why are they like doing this? Like now they're creating confusion because they're like, no, he did not say that. But he did say that.
No, he did. He did say that.
Then Mshololo said, you said you put the exhibits in the safe. Is there any other person who can attest to that exhibit being placed in the locker safe? Who can confirm? And Mosia said, here's an entry that I received at the time. It was written by the storeroom keeper. There was no name of the storeroom keeper. Only Mosia's signature. Then Mshololo said, what is the name of the storekeeper? And Mosia said it was an older lady and currently she's on pension.
She could be on pension. Look, the question is that favorite judge would like to ask, is that of material or immaterial? And I would say that is of importance.
Yes.
Because there are things that are signed by one person, things that don't have names and all that, where evidence was. We are dealing with the credibility of that evidence.
Yes.
And one might ask, why is that important? It is important.
It's important. It's very important.
It is the very same thing that is actually, one might argue, if there is a proper link, is going to place these people in jail. So such questions, sometimes I get defeated as to why you would ask such a question that thing is not important. How many bullets is not important?
It's important.
It is important. That thing is documented as evidence
That will
against
put
your
someone in
client.
jail.
It is important.
That will put somebody in jail. So it's important.
The fact that they had 3, but they could only get 2, it is important.
It's important. It's very important. What happened to the other one?
Because what if we go and look for the other one and we find that it's a different gun?
Exactly. Mshololo asked, I put it to you, there's no storekeeper. There's no one who signed that you kept these exhibits in a safe place. And Mosia said, I disagree with that. And on my occasions, I've explained that we worked tirelessly on that day. And when we got to the office, the exhibit clerk was not there. And the safest thing to do was to put the exhibits in a lockable safe for safekeeping.
Now making it sound like you are responsible. But why did you have to sign on your own and lie that there was someone who actually was there to welcome those things?
Exactly.
And why did you do that?
Why did you
What is
lie?
there for you to benefit? You should have said that the clerk was not there. If indeed the clerk was not there, if indeed you did put those things there.
If indeed you did put them there.
Do you understand? Why the need to go around? And then they say that evidence is not important.
It's important. Mshololo then asked, when you
because
put those...
you already said your client was not there. Why are you asking that question? Which now bugs me, because now I need to understand what question then to ask. Should we just go there and say, my client was not there, thank you, and sit down?
Believe that.
And sit down. Should you go there and say, my client was not there, thank you, and sit down? And then Malo comes with that map of cell phones and it tells you that the client was called, was within the proximity of that area.
With Kelly Khumalo's booking number. No?
Do you understand?
Booking number. So when you put those exhibits, you were alone asking Mshololo. Mosia said, I would say so. And you made the recordings in that entry alone. And Mosia said, I booked the following.
I would say so, or it is so.
He says, I would say so.
But if you probe, then the judge is going to tell you, the client will say, the witness has provided the answer.
Mosia said, I booked the following. I don't make any entry when the exhibit is in my possession. There's no entry that I did. As long as what I'm in possession of as exhibits is safe, I will keep them until such time that I register them. Mosia said that he went to Spring's office with the exhibits. Mshololo asked, when were the exhibits entered into the record? And Mosia said the following day at 8:30 in the morning. And Mshololo asked, the whole night after the exhibits were collected, they were with you? And Mosia said they were my responsibility. I was at home and they were at work. The judge said, I understand him. It happens every day. A fair officer like you comes to my house like when I was battled and 6 intruders came in and they took whatever items. The police came at 1:30 in the morning and they kept the exhibits in their possession because at the police station, this is common knowledge. The second tariff are closed.
How does not functioning accordingly becomes common knowledge? How do we normalize something that is not normal? I mean, in a sense, you are admitting that there is a normality that happens, and you now go as further as to say, this is how these things are done.
A whole judge. He should be rebuking. He should be condemning.
Do you understand? This is someone who deals with such evidence.
To how the police work.
Credibility of that evidence. So if you have that mentality, then you are going to rule over such cases where there is a bit of an assertion that these things were planted. There were no intruders there, but that intruder has been put there through a certain guy. Now you normalize something that does not seem normal.
And that is not supposed to be happening.
How are you going to sit down and be objective to say that this is not normal that someone would keep evidence with them in their bed and the kid is playing around on a brown envelope? Do you understand? How are you going to come to that conclusion that there has been anomalies that have occurred on the process of taking this evidence? This evidence is not as credible as I would like to see as a judge.
True.
Therefore, I rule against all four.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
Because now you have made it normal.
And you're a spokesperson for it.
You are advocating for it now.
So the police station is just functioning as a place where you issue vital recourse. He has already filled in his exhibits. He can go sleep. If he goes to the police station and sleep there, then fine. But he goes home and sleeps in the safe allocated to him by the SAPS for the following morning when he arrives at the office and enters the exhibits in the SAP 459. And Mshololo says, how did you ensure that the exhibits were not tampered with? And Mosia said the key to the safe was with him. The key to the officer was with me. The key to the office, my apologies, was with him. And he says that their office operates 24/7. Mshololo asked if there's no one else who can confirm if there was exhibits that he left at the office. And Mosia said that they work individually. Everything he does individually. He records it, and there's no one who gets close to him. That he had those other cases to attend to on the same night of the evidence, not the name of the storeroom keeper, but he can make an affidavit stating that he works alone, so that the defense counsel can no longer ask for the proof that they want to satisfy themselves of whether Mosia did not become reckless with the exhibits in this possession or not.
No. They do not. They do need that. In fact, that is admitting that there was a bit of negligence in terms of handling this thing, and that is all they need. If you are willing to reduce it into writing, then it's fine. Reduce it into writing, which is actually even more acceptable.
Yeah. So there was a statement that the judge asked Mosia to do regarding that, and the judge is pretty much a spokesperson and the state attorney at this point, in my opinion. I'm like, why? Why is he doing well his job, guys? Please help me understand. Mshalala said, let us not interpret for the witness, my lord. And the judge is like, him working alone has to make a declaration or affidavit before an officer to state what he did through his exigency of exhibits.
And my worry with that is that as much as we might be excited about it, it seems to me it is intending to close a certain loophole of some sort.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. So
Mosia should not be
an
held
argument can
accountable
never
for
be
this.
made because once you are literally closing that loophole. So the question is he gonna view that as some sort of what we call, first of all, lies, because it started there, to say that there was someone forging and signing a document that you claim to have been given by someone. The question should have been, where did you get then this form you
filled in, and yet the storeroom keeper's name is not there? So instead of holding him accountable for that mishap, Gutiwa go make a statement to say that you work alone.
You lied. You just lied under oath. But that thing has been just reduced to a minor mistake.
Go make a affidavit.
In fact, go correct it.
Guys.
So there is no lies, because every time you lie and you are caught, in fact, when you are caught, that's when you must make an assertion that
Hambenzi affidavit to explain your lie even further, so that we close the loophole for the defense counsel, so that they have not much to argue. I mean, guys, I think I've had enough. I think I'm getting trauma with each day of this case happening. I don't know. It's making me so scared of court. There was another long argument from the judge with Advocate Khumalo, and there was no sound coming from the SABC, so I have no idea what that argument was about, but you could see that the judge was, the body language
was boiling.
He was boiling. But towards the end, when the recordings came back, I heard him say, but according to him, an oath is enough. Accusing them of not knowing the law, he accused Khumalo of not knowing the law, and he said that they wanted him to postpone until tomorrow. Now, first things, in my opinion, right? Mosia can't submit the register or the proof that the defense counsel is asking for. What is going on? Why is he being protected like this?
In fact, the proof that he left the scene unattended for, all we want is to say, why did you leave that scene without finishing? Unattended. You say that, okay, I was attending to this emergence of some sort. So, okay, then bring the proof that there was an emergence.
Yes, bring it.
So all we want is the proof.
Bring it. Bring that proof. so that you get out of this heat.
And to
out of
guide
this
you
pot.
further to make your life easier, there is that register that you talked about. Bring that register. It will be enough. It will suffice as a proof that you had to go and attend.
So Advocate Mshololo had no further questions, ne? But I want you to, what do you think? The fact that Ngumalo brought that register, I did not see it coming.
What I like about Ngumalo is that he does not focus more on whatever that happened in the house, the circumstances and whatnot. He focuses more on what is written down. In a sense, so it's difficult to object on him because it deals with what you wrote down. It deals with what you have just said in terms of what could have been recorded. So if you are saying now that thing is not recorded, which the judge to me seems to be more passive in saying that, I know that thing, it could be there, it could not be there. Until Advocate Nisi stood up to say, but my lord, we are not saying that we will hold this court at ransom, but that thing is necessary. We need it. It's not an issue of might and might not.
And I have to be honest, in my opinion, I felt like Advocate Mshololo, what the F? It felt like a drag. But now that I went through the cross-examination with you guys, I see that she was able to do a little bit of some.
Look, I might make one submission. In that submission, can you please like the video, guys? See 832. We have 300 likes. Should we drink water? Maybe give you time to like the video.
Take a break.
So that
Take a body break.
we push for that, because it's important to actually go to that direction of liking the video, because that's the only thing that actually helps us
And that keeps us
to
going.
reach
honestly
others
speaking.
that we have not. And subscribe for those who have not subscribed. Okay, while we are doing that, I will be monitoring that part. So, Mshololo being absent, let us start there. Ngumalo was done.
Yes.
So, by virtue of Mshololo being absent, they managed to keep Msia on a stand for long.
Yes.
So, it could be that they didn't have a plan in motion, or they were actually verifying certain things for this to happen, for this commotion to happen in court today. So
Now I see.
yeah, you could read it
see
like
the
that also,
vision.
because it gave Ngumalo more time, actually. It bought Ngumalo more time than anyone else. I see Mshololo, I see everyone, but Ngumalo was brought back by Mshololo's absence, because Ngumalo was done on Friday.
Yes.
So if Mshololo was there, he could have just finished.
Yes. And we would not have heard
And then-
about this register.
and-
That is so important.
Hey, and Mzia could have just and Vaselina could have just moved with those 4 questions of clarity, and then it is done.
Oh, yes.
And then just when Msia was in a door moving out, he's freed. And then we are told here behind that Msia is actually a person of interest
Yes. Yes.
by the same person has been referring to.
So thank goodness for the subpoena. He has to come back now and testify with regards to the register.
Because you can see the questions that even the issue of Alexandra, which what is it, rigid or whatsoever that it falls under, the sentient part and whatnot, you can say that there's a bit of research that was done there that probably needed time to grow.
True. It needed time.
They didn't want to pursue it further because of time.
Yes. Yeah. So
Because it could be that the issue of Foslorus could have been attended by maybe people who are from Alex, for example. And the question is, why was Msia there? I'm just saying, Because I feel that question was left hanging there, the last questions, but it seemed it lacked time. It couldn't grow properly because there was no time. Whatever Mshololo bought, it was done.
Well, the judge referred Khumalo to a case he wrote a judgment for, which he says Khumalo needed to read. This follows Khumalo's request that the witness should bring his register to court. The judge asked Khumalo to read paragraph 11. Don't ask me of what the sound went off, I don't know. But Khumalo read, and I quote from this paragraph 11, "The accused admits to the accuracy and correctness of the photo album compiled by Sergeant Thabo Mosia and sketch plan depicting the scene on the 27th of October. Then the judge said there is no admission concerning Mhlahlo's photographs. I want to understand, there is not that admission concerning that. Do you agree, Mr. Baloyi?" And Baloyi stood up that is contained in paragraph 12. This only relates to Warrant Officer Mosia. Khumalo asked to read paragraph 12 verbatim, and it said, and I quote, "The accuracy and correctness of the photo album marked Exhibit D. The key and sketch plan marked reference number K636 compiled by then Warrant Officer Mhlahlo, depicting the scene on the 27th of October, as well as the photos taken during post-mortem examination on the 28th of October 2014 at Forensic Pathology Services Germiston, which form part of the photo album. Photos 129 to 137. The photos are admitted. There is a photo of the door handle." And the judge said, "The exhibit you allocated to Mosia, what does it relate to?" And Khumalo said photos of the crime scene are photos 1 to 8. And the judge said, so from 9, who is responsible for the photos going up? And Khumalo said there is no photo 9 in this photo album. The judge said, so he only took 8, and then Mhlahlo started from scratch and took 1 to 9. Took 129 photos. And Khumalo said Mhlahlo took from photo 1. There are 190 photos, and they were taken by Mhlahlo. They are admitted for accuracy. Admissions do not relate to sealing, packaging, and transporting of exhibits to the exhibit, so that the defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness. And the judge asked, based on what? So the judge didn't want them to cross-examine, because now Khumalo had brought out a point of saying that Mosia says he was not responsible for the sealing, the packaging, and the transporting in his examination. But now, during cross-examination, he has just brought up that he was responsible for the sealing, packaging, and transporting of these exhibits. So the judge asked, based on what? Khumalo said, on the packaging and sealing of exhibits to the ballistics. Khumalo said that he wanted to take the court's attention to the deliberations, where his challenge is that the witness says he packed, sealed, and transported the ballistics on the 30th of October 2014. That is his evidence in chief before cross-examination. The section 220 admissions, if I can be clear, there's no paragraph saying the accused admits to the packaging, sealing, and transportation of the exhibits to the ballistic. And the judge asked which photographs of the ballistics are in the photographs did he seal, according to you.
We could not see. It's on the brown envelope.
We cannot see them.
So this man is literally saying that the content contained there, we admit, or we agreed to it accuracy. But what we do not agree is what is contained within those things that we saw.
Yes.
So if I saw a picture of a brown envelope written a bullet, I'm not admitting that that bullet, in fact, is there.
Yes.
I'm only saying that I see a
brown
brown envelope that is said to be carrying a bullet.
I'm not seeing the bullet inside. So Khumalo then said,
so I just wanna also perhaps just deal with why is that important?
Okay.
Why is that important? So there are two things that you've got to be looking at, which is the best evidence rule. This rule states that when evidence is being offered to prove context of writing, recording, photograph, the original is general, required unless there is a valid reason for its absent. Do you understand? Then we go to authentication. We are authenticating here. The evidence must be properly identified and shown to be what it purports to be. So in this case, what they only saw is the picture.
Yes.
For example, a document may need to be authenticated to prove that it is genuinely and hasn't been tampered with. So that's why now these people are saying, okay, we want the original pictures.
Yes.
Wherever they are held. So they also go on and talk about competence. Evidence must come from the source that is considered competent to testify about the matter at hand. For example, an expert witness might be considered competent to testify about technical or scientific matters. So in this case, we're dealing with Mosia, who's an expert in a sense in what he does, the photos and the evidence itself.
Yes.
But seemingly from the questioning is found wandering. Hence, they are saying now we need more of the originality of that evidence. We need the pictures. We need everything that has to do with that. We bring it here.
Yes.
We are going to see it ourselves if that thing is important or not, if that thing is clear or not, because other pictures are not clear.
They are not.
And when we ask questions here, someone is found wandering and is getting sick. Not to be
insensitive,
but
it's
basically what they are
how
saying is that
he brings
in a
up
sense
his
they do not
sickness.
trust.
He brings up his sickness when serious questions come up. Yeah, that is very weird. And the judge said, what doesn't he admit? And Khumalo said he admits to be taking the photos. He admitted to taking the photos, taking the accuracy and correctness of the photo album, not the packaging, sealing, or transportation of the exhibits to the ballistics. There are supposed to be paragraphs detailing that. And the judge said, no. The photo album, what does it depict? Because
You
if
see,
I understand
that is the
English,
problem.
he says he admits the accuracy and the correctness of the photo album.
So, Emily, I take that T-shirt you're wearing. I take that bottle that you are drinking from that is not popular with other people, and then I cover that bottle with it, and I take a picture, and then I say, do you know what this picture depicts? What would be your answer?
A black cloth wrapping something.
And then you later find out actually this picture was depicting a bottle of water that you probably have been indulging on as evidence. The cover of that.
How would I have known that without seeing?
So that's
inside?
basically what the judge is saying, that you've accepted that.
No, and I even saw some people are saying that Khumalo accepted that. No, no. Accepting a picture is not the same thing as accepting the real deal.
Exactly.
You accepted a picture. You did not accept the content.
And on purpose,
thereof.
this man takes pictures after wrapping these things up. And that thing is not transparent to actually. That's why evidence had to be put on papers that are transparent, such as that. Because when you take a picture, we see that the focus is not the cover of that evidence. The focus is what is inside.
It's the fact that it's inside.
But you have decided to move with a brown envelope that seemingly is actually working now here.
Mosia. Sure, icon. So the judge said, because if I understand English, he says he admits the accuracy and the correctness of the photo album.
So you see now, the
photo
judge is
album-
benefiting, and the state is actually saying, the judge is saying you are benefiting from that mistake of that, which is now going back to say that this is not a chess game. according to case the case of 1928.
28.
Yes.
The case of
This is not a chess
1928.
game. This is not where you're looking to find someone wandering here. We are looking for the truth. Now, why are you benefiting from that? That you decided to cover something with something that is not transparent, and we are saying you accepted that brown envelope. Therefore, you accepted what could be inside that brown
Not
envelope.
only you accepted the brown envelope, a picture of the brown envelope. You accepted a picture. No, I'm meaning
And then we start talking about English there and there to throw you off. That
Yes.
actually this person is canvassing the issue of what is contained in that brown envelope that was not shown by the picture. The picture is accepted as it shows the brown envelope. And I liked his answering to say that I only say brown envelope and I accept that.
Khumalo said photo 129, which the bullet projectile was found at the crime scene. He admits to the correctness of the photo, not the packaging and the sealing and transportation. And the judge says, oh, I see. No, it's fine. Let's hear you. What did your client say? And I mean, Mr. Mosia, what did he package? Then Khumalo said the witness has admitted that he did not take a photo of the exhibit before it was sealed. He took it after the sealing of the bag. And the judge said, and your client admits the correctness and accuracy of that. And here I was confused. I'm like, hey, but when did Mosia become Khumalo's client? What is going on? The judge was allegedly dizzy today, and he did not understand what was going on, in my opinion.
No, you understood.
He understood. He was just trying to throw him off.
Listen, no, I think you are missing here. When evidence is presented, and for you to go and question on that evidence, you are basically, at some point, you have accepted that this is the evidence that you are going to deal with. So you've accepted that evidence as not to say credible, but as part of the exhibits that will be there. So as a lawyer, you are representing that person, and you pre-trial, you have said, okay, all is well.
Oh, so he's speaking in terms of
Yes.
trial.
Yes.
Okay.
You have said all is well. All is fine. I find nothing hideous. So I'm saying that these pictures are fine. Do you understand?
Okay.
I can take these pictures as these pictures are. I don't want more to actually scrutinize these pictures.
Okay.
So, hence the issue of taking a brown envelope picture, and then you put there and you say, yeah, I see, it's a brown envelope. The judge is saying, because you said you see it's a brown envelope in the picture, you've accepted everything there.
Ubulela ka pre-trial.
No,
Agreement.
no, Emily. Evidence is there in front of you. It's name, exhibit A, exhibit what.
Yes.
That means you are willing to actually build your defense around that evidence that the state has provided. You are accepting anything that you don't accept. You'd have said, no, I don't think I agree with this and that. Do you understand? So what Khumalo was saying, yes, I admit I accepted the envelope for my client because I thought it was just an envelope. I didn't know that it had content within an envelope. So I didn't know that there's actually a bullet inside that envelope.
Okay.
And the judge is saying, but you accepted, therefore you accepted everything that comes with that. The picture depicts that.
Well, Khumalo said, no, that is not how he understood. He admits to the manner in which the photo is, the accuracy and correctness of the photo, not the chain of evidence. And the judge asked Mr. Baloyi for his view on the accuracy and correctness of the photo. And the photo is a living agency of information, according to him. And Baloyi said, indeed, we agree with the court as to the interpretation. But what gave rise to the debate, my lord, was when counsel sought that this witness should bring certain registers, trip registers, the working copy and the master copy of the photos that he has taken. That, we said, my lord, is encapsulated in the admissions. And that is why we objected, my lord, that they have already admitted that aspect. But
Do you see Baloyi benefiting on that?
Yes, he's benefiting. But as far as the chain of custody is concerned, that is why this witness is here to testify about that. And he has already testified.
So this
about
witness
that.
is
So we
here
think-
to testify about that to add that bullet inside that brown envelope that you could not see.
Yes.
You now, because you have accepted that brown envelope, therefore, that bullet must be accepted.
So we think it's water under the bridge. And the judge said, you can proceed, sir, referring to Mr. Khumalo. So the court will have to make a ruling on that. That's what the judge said.
With confidence. Obviously, you can tell the judge is going to rule otherwise.
Khumalo said another thing is that the registers are not encapsulated in the admissions. They are not mentioned in the Section 220 admissions. So the judge said, how does the register come in now? And Khumalo said, I heard my colleague mention the register, that I'm the one who raised the issue of the registers. And the judge said, Mr. Baloyi, they are saying you raised the issue of the registers. Then Baloyi stood up to say, I was just mentioning a background of how this issue came about, that he wanted the register, and then we objected and said that the issue regarding the correctness of the photo album has already been admitted. So you can't now question that and say that you want copies of the photos, the working copy. And the judge said, because that has been admitted, Baloyi said the working copy and the master copy. And the judge said, because the gentleman was working on the downloading of the camera, is that correct? Is that not so? Which was taken by a camera, which was taken by a photo. Then Khumalo said, the photos look faint in Exhibit C. I'm unable to follow, which is why I wanted the master copy. The judge said, no, counsel, the photo is faint, then you admit it, then you argue post facto. He looked upset, in my opinion. No, Mr. Mnisi. Then Mr. Mnisi, he is not dark. He made an example with Mr. Mnisi saying that he's not dark in complexion, he's light in complexion, but you have admitted the representation of Mr. Mnisi where he's got a dark complexion.
So you see now, you see what is happening. Do you understand now the gist of this argument as to where it comes from and where it's building to? It says that if I decide to switch off these lights and take a picture of you, and in fact you go to court, and then they realize that even if they can see it's you, but they realize that no man, this person actually is lighter. Therefore that person is lighter, that's it.
Khumalo said, but my lord, how does my request prejudice the state? And I was like, yes, he used where's the prejudice last week, right? It's coming back now. But my lord, how does my request prejudice the state? And the judge said, oh, that's another aspect. Khumalo then said, it does not prejudice the state in any way. Baloyi said there is already an issue of relevancy, and the court has already indicated that this issue happened in 2014. Now this witness, as he has already pointed out, now he must go and try and look for that information.
This guy is using the court. The court submitted that. The judge, in fact, said that.
Yes.
Now he's using to his advantage.
Yes. Which has got absolutely nothing to do with this case.
But why
it's
not?
Regarding the other scenes that he admitted, just like the Alexandra and Cleveland cases have.
If the judge is testifying,
right?
Hey, yes. In fact, you could submit that, my lord. We have went further to even hear evidence
and cross-examine
pertaining a different case in the very same court.
Yes. We need
I do not see how
registers.
a register can prejudice. Just a register. As far as prejudice is concerned, in fact, we are in the middle of it because we have cross-examined people who are here to testify about the Alexander case.
Oh, yes. We are saying, therefore, that information is irrelevant. They are not disputing that he attended the scene. I don't see how the trip register will assist them in that regard. So our objection is based on two legs. The first one is the correctness of the photos and accuracy has been admitted. And secondly, those registers are irrelevant. Then the judge said Mr. Khumalo can go on with his submission.
Which obviously we still have to rule over.
Now, I'm starting to speculate, Mr. Anonymous, you guys. What if there are no two cases of arson and robbery? I know I'm awful for thinking this, But what if that's the case?
You wouldn't be far off, man. I mean, it's a thought. I mean, if you get in a defensive mood when you have to go through such, then that means that you do not know where you are going to get such information. So it's an assumption, obviously. It's allegation.
Speculation.
We are speculating here, but based on a defensive mood that you got into when you had to actually
Bring those registers.
It tells a different story.
What if Mosia just was told to go away? Or he went to sleep or something. I don't know. Why this much protest for them registers? But anyway, just me thinking aloud. Then Khumalo said he is instructed by his client to request those registers. And the judge asked again which registers he was talking about.
Exactly the one you forgot, my lord. The one that we are talking about that yet you keep on forgetting. Exactly those ones, my lord.
Then Khumalo said the planned register. Mosia says he doesn't think he still has the registers. Advocate Khumalo is requesting them, and he said he will have to go and search for them. The witness cannot just say he doesn't have them. He must go and search for them and come back. He's just giving a spontaneous response. And the judge said, they say you are giving a spontaneous response, Mr. Mosia, meaning you have not even thought about the issue. And Mosia said, I've answered, my lord, even though it was not my platform. Mosia said he will search for them. And Mosia listed all the police stations that he covered that night. And Khumalo asked if he knew which LCRC covered Alexandra police station. Mosia said it should have been Sandton LCRC. Then Khumalo ended his cross-examination, which is what you were talking about earlier.
So, when are we expected to get this blend register?
Anytime before the trial ends.
Shouldn't be wrong. But, my feeling is that watch the space where in the court might intervene to say that they cannot divulge such information to public.
Then we'll know what.
Really no. Just watch the space. Something is gonna give. It's either a commander or something. Not even a court. The commander is gonna come and say, "We cannot divulge such information." There's gonna be a leg to stand with. But I can tell you,
we've seen it before.
In my own thinking, in my own capacity, I do not think that thing is going to come forth. You're going to see it. I don't think you're going to see such. There was no way you're going to see such. I will go as further as betting with you to say
then
that
they should be
there
okay
is no way.
With the public concluding what it wants to conclude from this case.
But
if
the thing is,
gonna do that.
Yes, the thing is the judge going to see it as a significant thing already that he's assuming that it's not easy to actually get hold of. Sometimes it disappeared. I mean, when I was a judge, all the accused what documents disappeared. So this one might disappear.
Well, Nisi said that after the registers, he would also like to ask more questions based on that.
There are no questions that are going to come because there's nothing that's going to come.
Listen to the judge's response. He said if he finds the registers.
Exactly.
Obviously. If he finds the
registers. It's like a subliminal
that he's sure that they're not going to be there.
No, like sending a signal, please. Like, do not find them.
Wow.
Because why do you sit on a negative narrative without balancing your narrative to say that actually please find them. That's how far you should go as a judge. Please find those things, bring them to court. If they are going to assist us with this case, please bring them to court. That's it. That's how far you go. You don't go as far as saying if he finds them.
Then
that's one way. If I'm there, sitting there, and I don't know anything about this case, and I don't know, I'm the one who's supposed to go and find that thing, definitely I'm not going to go find it. And the judge is telling me if he emphasizes if, I'm told to listen, most. I'm going to listen. If you don't find it, it's okay. The judge is not going to do anything. There's nothing that's going to happen to you. It's okay.
Nisi said there's no way he could not find them. The judge said, they could not find pocketbooks, please. Then there was an argument between
He keeps on
Nisi and the
jumping
judge.
from the dockets that are lost, pocketbooks. So he's basically saying, I don't care of the whole police. I can throw them under the bus, but don't bring this thing here. That's what I'm thinking. That's my own presumption. That's my own assumption.
Speculation.
I'm speculating here.
Nisi said he doesn't want to be caught up in a position where the accused person felt that they had an unfair trial, and the judge said that he has never allowed the counsel to never cross-examine, and Nisi said that's not the issue. And Nisi insisted that the registers should be found because registers cannot just grow feet and run away.
Indeed, Ms. In fact, we even find out that you were a prosecutor also.
Well, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Mosia said that he cannot continue in the witness box and continue any further. He said, I have been in the witness box for so long, I cannot anymore.
There is a way out, is not to find those things that you could not find, then probably there will be no need for you to come back. But one thing they did very well is to orchestrate a plan of some sort to say that we know that we are supposed to be the last person after Mhlahlo, but you are given to us as the first person. We don't want you like that. We want you to go back to the queue and be after Mhlahlo.
And go after Mhlahlo. All right. So that was very interesting to find that. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm looking for something here. Yeah.
So this is the time where I normally pause everything and say, you guys can call.
Yeah, even though I didn't cover the entire thing. But yeah, we can open the lines. I've been talking for so long.
No,
and I'm having difficulty here with my screen.
okay.
So we can open the lines, unless if you guys don't mind me looking from down here as I finish. It's a lot going on. We're also having our own technical difficulties this side. So yes, overall, yeah, it was a lot today. A lot of arguments and a lot was going on. I'm just trying to track.
You need a break or something.
I do need a break, but I don't know how to ask for it, guys. I don't know how to ask for it.
Okay, guys, I can take one or two calls here if you guys are ready with your comments.
Oh, yes. Found it. Mosia says that he cannot continue to be in the witness box any further. He said, I've been in this box for so long and I can't anymore. I don't understand what more is needed from me now when I was just doing my work. My body cannot take it anymore. And the judge said, okay, I hear you. Tell me about Springs. Do you know who is in charge now? And Mosia said, Lieutenant Colonel Ngomani, who is the acting commander. But we have got your particulars, ne? I know you are sickly, saying the judge. This court will invoke section 167. Strictly speaking, it should be 186, but it's 167 because this witness has evidence. So this is a subpoena, you guys, for him to bring those registers. And he said, we are not able to find finality in it because he has some incapacitation. But he says there's a lieutenant who will access to have access to that information. And this court will recall you, okay, after Ngomane has searched to come and ameliorate your evidence. The judge says that he ran the Joburg High Court and all the records of the convicted people suddenly disappeared at the time that he was at the Joburg High Court, and saying to Mnisi that he must sit down. He's trying to inform him. All the records of guilty verdicts were not found, and those of not guilty were found. And Mnisi said that when he was still a prosecutor at the DPP office Pretoria, they found registers of a case that was committed 20 years ago. And the judge said, yes, you know better. He spoke of the Zondo Commission and the dockets that went missing from the NPA. They found feet all the way right up to Cape Town. So I don't know how you guys felt about that, but for me it was interesting to find out that Mnisi was actually a state prosecutor before. Wasn't that interesting?
Yes.
So the state re-examined the witness. I'm just going to skip the re-examination because there wasn't any much drama in that. So the judge, regarding the pocketbook, is it common sense that when they are full, they must be handed in? And Mosia said it is so. To get a new pocketbook, you must hand in the old one. So the judge said, when they furnish you with a new pocketbook, what is the procedure? And Mosia said that they file the old pocketbook where it is filed. And they asked, where is it filed? And he said, at HR on their shelves. So what happens if you've lost the pocketbook? And Mosia said, I believe that I need to write an affidavit. The judge also said that in the 70s, while he was still a prosecutor himself, pocketbooks went missing. So to him, it's not a new thing, something that happens. So the judge says, did you plant any ballistic evidence? And Mosia said no. And Mosia said the fragment that he found alone, but the projectile was found by Colonel Mhlahlo while he was with her. And the judge asked, I'm asking you this because the question is, why couldn't you find the bullet? And Mosia said that he found the fragment after midnight, after he had arrived at the scene. And the judge asked, who showed it to you? Mosia said it was visible on the floor. So it was very interesting that the judge asked, who showed it to you? Mosia said on the floor. So istori sakan type saying je sidizi sonke. Then the judge said, and the projectile behind the glass jars. And Mosia said the same day on the 27th when I processed the crime scene with the crime scene management team. Ramosipele stood to ask Mosia more questions. So Mosia said working as a standby, he got paid overtime. The point wants copies. He had to claim overtime. So those copies of him filling in to claim overtime can be found at HR. Mosia said that if they can be found, again, using the judge's dialogue, they will be retrieved at the provincial financial office. So Mosia told Ramosipele that he does not know what happened at the crime scene between the time he left the scene at 2:40 a.m. and the time he came back in the morning to find a bullet projectile in the company of Colonel Mhlahlo. So Advocate Mshololo asked, at the time that you left the scene amongst the police officer, the family members, you also left them inside the house. And Mosia said, when I processed the crime scene, there was no one in the house. I asked them all to get out. And when you left the house, they were not allowed to enter inside the house. And Mosia said, like I explained, I handed over the crime scene in the right way. I believe even the police officers I left behind, they were trained how the crime scene is safeguarded for that reason. Then Mosia said that he left an instruction to the police so they know their job to safeguard the crime scene until the crime scene management team arrived. So I agree with you saying Mshololo, but at the time when you left the family members also at the scene. And Mosia said, no, I can't comment on that because I was not looking at the movement of people. I was still busy with the crime scene. The judge asked the state to subpoena the registers and all councils must assist him to draft that subpoena. So the state called Colonel Thobeka Mhlahlo, a Xhosa lady by the sound of her voice. Mhlahlo compiled the photo album, and according to Mosia, she discovered the bullet projectile on the kitchen counter on the morning of the 27th of October 2014. Baloyi asked her to read her statement into the record. So she's a fingerprint expert, photographer, draftsman. At the time, she was a lieutenant colonel in the SAPS and was a commander in the crime scene investigation criminalistic expert fingerprint, crime scene examiner, official photographer, and draftsman at Protea Local Criminal Record Center. So her rank was warrant officer on the 27th of October 2014. She has 22 years of experience, 22 years in the service of the SAPS, and 18 years she has been working in the criminal record crime scene management. She has completed her criminal record studies at various criminal record centers, and after those courses, she was adjudicated and given the expert in fingerprints in 2008. She works with crime scene examination, photography, videography, planned drawings, as well as forensic and fingerprint exhibits on a daily basis. She has testified in court before, and there are many cases she would go back to office and list them before the court. So this was quite interesting for me, the fact that she couldn't remember specifically the number of cases that she has testified in court for. She says she doesn't remember them. She'll need to go back to her office and get a list of those court cases that she testified in. She testified in the High Court on many occasions, as well as the Magistrate Court, as well as the Regional Court. She does in-service training as the service commander. So Colonel Mhlahlo says that she arrived on the scene on the 27th of October 2014 at 8 a.m. in the morning. She was asked by Colonel Matidze to attend the crime scene where all alleged shooting incident took place from 10 past 9 to 14:30. She was at the crime scene in Gudlanong Street, and she found Sergeant Thabo Mosia and Captain Zwani, who briefed her about the crime scene. Yes, all this time I've been thinking that Colonel Mhlahlo was there at 2:30 in the morning when Mosia left. It doesn't sound like she was, according to her statement. So we then did the first drop through, and Sergeant Thabo Mosia then further informed me about the investigation he did, the crime scene on the 26th of October 2014. Based on the points given to her by Lieutenant Zwane, as well as observations made by her, she further processed the crime scene with Sergeant Mosia. Now, she says we agreed that Sergeant Mosia would proceed with the forensic investigation, as he started with it already in his first visit. She says, I then focused on taking pictures and fingerprints, investigation, and compiling the crime scene report, as well as the rough sketch. First, the debrief was done by Lieutenant Zwane, who was the crime scene manager from the station. Then there is a walkthrough of the crime scene from the inside. When you go out, then you discuss who will be handling the case. In this instance, it was Mosia, because he had already started. We agreed that Mosia will continue and I will take pictures. And then I compiled the crime scene report, and I did the rough sketch of the scene, and then I took the photos. Because when you first start taking photos of the scene, you take them undisturbed before starting with your investigation. Mosia started with touch DNA. I was taking pictures. After DNA, we then did ballistic investigations. Then it was fingerprints. She went through pictures. The pictures that she took as exhibits. So court had to adjourn for the day, and Colonel Mhlahlo will continue with her evidence in chief tomorrow. So what we can gather from this is that Mhlahlo says that it was agreed that Mosia will continue with the investigation, as he was already at the scene earlier. She continued to take pictures, but Mosia yena said he only took 8 pictures because his camera was of poor quality. So who's telling the truth? What is going on? Guys, you can call in. I'm done.
Yeah, call in, guys.
I'm officially done.
Please like the video, share the video, subscribe, and then do call in. I would like to believe that the settings are for call-ins.
It's the fact that Mosia wanted to pass the responsibility to Mhlahlo for me. She made Mhlahlo seem like the lead investigator. And Mhlahlo saying that no, actually, when we got there, we had an agreement that he will continue with the crime scene. He will continue and I will take pictures. He will continue to investigate. Meaning Mosia was actually the one who was in charge.
Okay, let's start with this one. Zanze, hello. Mzanze, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir, how are you?
Yebo.
Yeah.
It's a man.
Yes.
Ngikhuluma okuningi kakhulu namhlanje. What I want to say ukuthi I think amaphoyisa la amlahle ngaphandle umthabiseni because uba expose kakhulu. So bavele bamthatha bamphonsa ngaphandle nje total ukuthi ngekangekho azange bambone. Nokuthi bakhombisile ibullet banamahloni nangaloko. So I don't think umthabiseni he was lying all together complete. I think this police, they were very angry with this woman. She just exposed us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it could be onto
this is
something.
Friday's, I think, proceedings, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Was there an Tabiseng issue here today?
Yes, there was. I brought it up with the fact that Mosia has no mention of Ntabiseng when the judge asked, so who gave you the bullet? Did anyone give you the bullet? And he was like, no one. So I brought up Ntabiseng that,
But why would the judge ask Mosia now? Because Mosia was not there when that happened. It was between the two guys that came in first. Mzanze, hello. Mzanze.
Hello?
Hello? Yes.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi. No, simple words. That judge needs to be popular, guys. He needs to be carefully popular. Because he's very suspicious, this judge.
It's very suspicious. Yeah, he's
he needs to be popular, this guy.
Popular.
He's too much for my liking. And as I told you guys before, this guy, he might surprise us with this whole case. The judge. Yeah, he might surprise us because he's making it obvious that he's on which side already.
Hey.
Defending Abon Tate Mosia. Hi, no. Tate Mosia is a joke, man. He's a joke to our nation, guys. No.
Forensic Gadara.
No, he's an embarrassment, this guy. And you know what, guys? I wanted to share a little bit of my experience with the court. I'm not surprised that this whole case is going the way it's going because I had a bad experience with the court, whereby I was arrested for a red robot at night, and I was found guilty for that, and I was caught by cops, no help, and their stories were so different and obvious that the people that were in the court proceedings that day, they were even laughing at those cops. But the magistrate found me guilty either way. I had no choice. I had nothing to say. I had no say. And my lawyers were told where to get off in the proceedings. So I'm not surprised with these court cases that are happening in South Africa.
Sure.
But the current one is being exposed live in the nation. And I'm glad it's happening right now. We're getting to see the reality of court cases, how they are handled.
Yes.
You know? So I'm really glad for people like me that never got justice before. I'm really, really glad that they're getting exposed now. I'm a brown envelope. Except the photo, brown envelope, just like that.
Yeah, no.
No, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, continue calling and continue liking the video. Put it to 600. We are on 830 viewers, 500 likes, guys. Let's push the likes up to 600, 700. Why not 8?
And the lines are still open.
The lines are still open. As usual, that's how we do. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. And guys, it's a guess. Okay, Mzansi, hello.
Hello?
Yes. Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Am I adding something?
Yes, you're 100% there.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to understand something here from you guys. Ne?
Yes.
During the Oscar Victoria case, ne?
Yes.
The Steenkamp family where I mean the prosecutor was on their side, ne? And then on top of that, they had their own lawyer, ne?
Yes.
Who was observing or something like that. But now in this case, who's on the side of the Meyiwa family?
The state.
Isn't the prosecutor supposed to be, on their side, because they are the ones who have lost the son or whatever?
Yeah, the states would claim we are on their side, the victims.
Yes.
Yes.
But why is it not the case now?
It is what you think. It is what you think and what you are viewing. According to them, they are on the side of the truth.
But have they said
Okay.
No, they cannot declare that they are on the state. What they are dealing with here is Senzo. Basically, it's not necessarily the family that they deal with. It's the person, the victim. They are on the side of the victim. They want people who did that to a victim.
Okay.
I think
so it is correct in this way.
Yeah, the issue of River Steenkamp, it was clear, it was not denounced. It happened, it was accepted. The question was how it happened. This one, on the other side, there's a bit of dispute of how it happened. So we do not have, or we might have a person to take accountability. In that case, there was someone to take accountability.
Okay.
Clear. It was clear. There was no, was it you or not you? It was me, but I was just thinking that there were intruders in the house. So I decided to wake up and do what I needed to do. While on this other side, there were intruders, there were no intruders. So it's a bit different in that sense, that it's not clear.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yes.
And now coming to the witnesses,
Yes.
Is it a normal procedure for a judge to always, like, if the defense is proving the statement or what, the evidence of the witness? Is it procedural for the judge to always refer them? Let me make an example. When Michelle was saying Senzo Meyiwa was left there to die,
Yes.
then they just interrupted and said, no, Randy frozen, Randy was doing this, Randy was doing that, Randy was doing that. Is it procedural? Because now Michelle was probing, testing the person who was there, his evidence to say, is it true? Is this how it happened? He was left there by the time he came, somebody came in, nobody was attending to him, he was left alone. So then the judge came in to say, no, Randy was seeking help for her and all of that. Why should the judge answer for the witness?
In a sense, it didn't answer. What this man is doing is play around the book of law. You cannot put an assertion like that What that was, it was in an insinuating format that Senzo was left there to die alone. No help, nothing was happening. This man is like, oh, but Zandi was out there shouting her lungs out in trying to get help. So you cannot claim that that person was just left unattended as if they were just folding their arms and not saying anything or not doing anything. So obviously you cannot do that in court. It was kind of wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No, thanks for the enlightenment.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's get other callers. I'm alternating here. Yes. Mzansi, hello.
Hey, my brother, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Sharp, good.
Yeah.
Oh, Namputam no?
Yes, my brother.
Oh, Namputam, I following this case. Yes, but today, put that to consider and the man just looked like he's leading evidence of this case the way he ends on a corner. Oh, I feel sad today for defense because so if he tried to talk to him, like he stopped him from, if he tried to start, he stopped him because he know what he uzokhuluma iqiniso. Bafethu nje ngiyabonga like nje ngibe ne-bad dream embi, so nangithi ngiya-check because ngihlala ngimibheka njalo, nangithi ngiya-check-a online. So ngithake ngijoyine, so ngiyabonga muhle umsebenzi wenu kakhulu.
Thank you.
Ngiyamthemba, ngiyamthanda bafethu.
Thank you.
Fithi wathule kuphi?
She's laughing.
Sharp bafethu ngiyabonga le.
Sharp.
Thank
We hope it's not us who are a bad dream.
But I can imagine, I've also been like
Bad
in
dream
that
lady,
situation
you
where I
wake
just
up.
woke up.
Guys, please like the video, share the video. I see it, we're at 500. Can we push it to 600? Please like the push it to 700. Why not? Yes, and you can still call. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Hi, how are you? Hi, guys, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also been following this case, but after what happened today, it is tiring.
Yeah.
With the judge.
Yes.
You're gonna get tired with this judge. But for me, I think to find the truth to what happened to Senzo is to put Senzo and Longwe on the same side. With this friend of Senzo,
Tumelo.
Yes, Tumelo will avenge Senzo. We will know the truth. If we can put them on the same room with Longwe. No. But with the judge, I don't think we'll get the truth yet.
Okay.
It's very biased. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Right. All is alleged. Remember that before you go against and you go for us. No, all is alleged. We're not saying it is what it is, but we're saying this is what we think. Keep on calling for those who you must know, Mr. Anonymous, that the other number of views, it's allegedly intruders. Okay, allegedly intruders. No, I get you. I I feel you.
So you must make up your mind. Are you an intruder or what?
You're not an intruder. You're not binge washing us.
You're not an intruder,
yes.
like
Mzansi, hello.
Hello, good evening to you, Tim.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
Fine, and you, Tim. I've got good few points to contribute.
Yes.
The first one is based on what we are seeing on the case. I don't think the state has managed to connect the dots between the evidence gathered with the accused. For example, connecting the DNA, which they have gathered from the sites, with the people who are in the dock, like the 5 accused.
Yes.
Then the second point which I wish to mention is, and which is in tandem with what the last speaker has said, which is the treatment of defense lawyers by the judge. I've got some reservations on that because the judge there is seated like the grandfather, sharing his grandchildren, telling them what to do, what to say, and what not to say. I don't think that is procedural. Then I also have some worries when the judge doesn't see the importance of extracting the receipts or registered of the supply chain or movement of evidence from the point of gathering to the recipient site. Then my fourth point is we can see now wherever we work and whatever we do, the importance of doing things thoroughly. The police, we can say they did not do their work in a competent way, but this falls within the squarely the hands of all of us, that whenever we are working, we need to do our job meticulously. Then the fifth point, which I would want to submit is, or my reservation, is the admissibility of the identification of the second accused by Tumelo without doing a parade. I've got reservations there. I don't know what the rules of the court actually say. Then my last submission would be, this case has taught me that in life, with our families, with our brothers, we wouldn't be here where we are without judging anyone. That most of the time, we should be at the right place at the right time. We wouldn't be accusing or alleging that maybe the people who were in the house caused this thing if our brother or dear brother Meyiwa was with his friends on the evening this incident had occurred. He was with Mandisa. We wouldn't be thinking that Mandisa caused this thing. Right now, we are, all of us, or most of us, if I may use, we are alleging that Kelly maybe has a hand in this. But maybe the poor woman, because we as Africans, we are not happy that she was the custodian of Senzo when the incident happened. So I'm just saying, it's unfair that we have these biases because our beloved brother, Senzo Robert Meyiwa, was not at the right place at the right time, and this should be a lesson for us all. I thank you for the opportunity, John.
Right. Thank you.
Good point.
Very good point. Very good point.
That is amazing. Be careful.
Yeah.
Be at the right
It's a
place
lesson
at the
to
right
learn.
time.
It's a lesson to learn, mixed with what is happening in court. My worry is what happened then after, and the passing, that time and everything. That's the problem. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
You're speaking to Mr. Anonymous again.
Okay, Mjongeni. Right.
Yeah, Mr. Anonymous. You know what? I've got only 3 questions.
Yes.
I'm not putting it to you because you are not my Lord, but I'm putting it to everyone that is listening. You know?
Yes.
When the incident took place,
Yes.
I'm also following the case.
Yeah.
I remember it is alleged that there were 7 people inside the house
Yes.
when the 2 intruders came in.
Yes.
But my worry, out of all people in South Africa, okay, when the incident took place, Longatwala ran away from the house. Why the first call out of all people, it went to Chico? Maybe I'm confused. Why Chico only out of because Longa was not in the danger or anything. He was not suffering in any attack. But why the first call went to Chico?
Yeah. I get your first question.
So the second one, okay, the intruder is inside now, both of them. One is carrying the knife, one is carrying the firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first place, I've been in court. The pistol and the revolver, they are different. You can differentiate. The revolver has got a wheel, and the pistol has got it's just a pistol. And when you shot with the revolver, the only thing that is coming out is the bullet. And then it contains the cartridge.
Yeah.
And then the pistol will take out the cartridge, and the only thing that came out is the bullet. But I don't hear anyone talking about the cartridges that were found inside the house. I only hear the bullet. Where were these cartridges? Thank you, guys. That's my question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to say that they picked up the... I'm sorry, guys. My mind is just going all over the place. Maybe they're trying to tell us that they picked up the cartridges. They sure had a lot of time if that's the case, allegedly.
Look, it is difficult. There is no way you can go down and write revolver and deal with revolver and no cartridges were found. And all of a sudden you come back and say that was a pistol. So claiming that there could have been a cleanup. Mzansi, hello. Right? It could be a cleanup, which we are told about in any case.
Maybe they didn't know what they were and they just decided to clean along with everything, allegedly.
Yeah, Mapiri must come and explain. Because now this is in her doorstep. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Njani.
Sikhona njani?
Kapila. Very much. Just watching the case today.
Yes.
I was very worried about the judge way of doing things. I'm very, very worried about that. Even though before Tinovo, who judge the thought about indlela esenza ngayo nokho is totally different from this one. If being a judge, you need to reserve at some point, not to disturb and clearly disturb the defense. And when the state is saying something, you start to say, okay, for the first time. Otherwise, inconvenience, but I'm worried about the judge. And apart from that, we call the party of Kabela Ndimamele where women was persisting, trying to find out Nobana, make it 20 years experience, can I do 20 years that they were found, the registers were found. Now, who would she still jumping on Lucy and say, and comparing with the experience that the Naiba was and stuff. I don't know why is he putting into the defense that and then the experience and stuff in this current case. In this current case, there's a lot of things that could be the innovation in terms of I now treat on a case with the previous cases with experiences. Here we need to find the truth. But now my allegedly my submission, as much as I'm working for the the justice is failing, because if you listen to the judge, he says udala kuqhubeka iyalahleka i-OKP but xa umuntu econvictiwe akuyalahleka but xa ingaconvictwanga kuyasimaneka. But then it is the challenge between justice plus no SAPS to find out when they can do it. Because allegedly here on this case, asisajonganga abantu abangasebenzi phakathi but sibona amapolisa that have been indicated allegedly. If you check advocate therefore, and I need him on this case. Advocate therefore said that, and remember who advocate the one who Shololo.
Yes.
Shololo mentioned, when I put it into Tumelo. I'm reading it, that GPT says there is a case coming, which is 375. Right? That 375, you are indicated allegedly. In fact, it's something that is stated by GPT. Then on that, if you still remember, Brother said, there is a police that allegedly stole the information that could lead to arrest someone there. So this judge, the way that it does things, it seems to me that 375 mustn't see the daylight. I'm worried about that. Very worried. Lastly, Mr. Anonymous, I don't care whatever the judge can do against the phone, but the state is losing in all angles here. Checking the gun that was used, and I can't wait for Lomfara Kachiko. I will testify plus no, then you will see the changes. I don't care about this thing that but the state is going to gun lose. We call the witness that are contradicting themselves. There's a lot. I've seen a case. That's my definition. Allegedly.
All right. No, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that time of the night where we say it was nice. And until today again, later,
because today has its own drama.
Yes.
I'm not feeling secure. I don't want to lie. I still have to see what she has to say, but already it's shaky.
Yeah, let us finish. I hope that's not going to take long for Mhlahla.
Me too.
And so that we see the ones that are being pushed away from this case.
Okay.
1 minute. Hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
Good, sir.
Good. Just 1 minute as well.
Yes.
Listen, the judge should be asking, or should have asked Mosia one question. Why do you come back with this lady who was testifying today? Why do you come back and then you take pictures? Were you not pretending? Because you said, you told the court that you did not find any bullet. But when you find it the next day, you are asked, who showed you the bullet? And then you say in the pepenene. Why was it not in the pepenene when you were here the previous day? Why is it now in more pepenene? Because there are photographs now. You see. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
It's a good question.
It's a good question.
It is a good question. Why?
Why? Yeah, and what is you were told that you said you found water there. There was cleaning clearly as the crime scene attendant. You have seen that there was water. It was clean. Now you still come back with a new camera and you are taking 100 and something photographs for what? Because the crime scene has already been tampered with. Thanks, Mr. Anonymous.
Thank you. Right. I guess that's the last caller we're going to have. I think I covered everyone, almost everyone. Obviously, I can't cover everyone. I know that everyone wants to call and have their own opinion. But tomorrow is another day. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.